Hello, trading has closed on the 19th of March, 2024. We'll do our disclaimer, go over our calls, make some predictions. Please remember, my calls can be wrong. Any trade one, make sure you make one's own risk. Look for the pattern with the early high. Tends to be a rally day with a high in the final hour. We got that. Tomorrow should also have the early high. I did not like yesterday's action. I said unless we gapped and took out this high fast, we should trade lower, but that didn't mean we had to close lower. It's just a reminder of what we said. We still haven't broken this March 8th high from Christopher Carolan. And first I thought we would, now I'm not so sure. MEJT said this rally wasn't going to stick, that we were going to retrace, but that's already played out and doesn't tell us anything about tomorrow's trade. Well, the FOMC announcement comes out tomorrow in the afternoon, 2 o'clock Eastern. I'm always flat going into that. It leads to these wild swings. It's too much for me. I'm just going to go over what I think's going on. But I'm probably not going to make any trades tomorrow because I rarely do on those days. I can have a much higher degree of accuracy on days when the FOMC doesn't make an announcement, and I don't see any reason to risk my money if all the cards aren't lined up. We still held on to Christopher Carolan's high right over here on March the 8th. We've counted this probably as 5 waves up, but we haven't had much of a correction, nor have we invalidated the count. I proposed yesterday that we hadn't finished wave red 5, that this was 1 and this was 2, and that would make this wave 3 of the 5th wave up. Well, we had our standard 61.8% pullback, and that's fine. But then, how do you count this move as an impulse? I mean, that's not an impulse. I mean, that's not a 5-wave impulse. Wave 3 can't be the smallest wave. I mean, it just doesn't fit. So I don't think that's the right count. I think everything was going fine until we hit Carolan State for the high, and then we have this consolidation without a count that I'm finding perfectly satisfactory. It keeps changing. If you start from wave brown 4, which is here, right there, I think it's at least possible to count this as an ending diagonal triangle. I mean, you can count A, B, C, D should be here, D, and E. And I mean, it doesn't break any rules. You have a wall into the close. These things often reverse. I don't know if this is the right count or not, but it doesn't break any rules. And if it's the right count, we're going to go straight down right from the open tomorrow, FOMC or not. And I'm not risking any money on this until I see what happens, and because of FOMC I might not even risk any money then, but at least there is a count which can explain what's going on if we drop right from the open. So if we drop from the open, that March 8th high is going to look pretty good, and if we just keep going up, then we don't have to risk any money. I don't like to risk any of my money till all the cards are lined up, and they aren't lined up for me right now, but that's enough to keep me flat overnight because that's a wall into the close, and if that's the right count, we're going to drop right from the open. And I'm not saying it's the right count. I'm saying it's a valid count. Might be others. So tomorrow's pattern has a really high, doesn't tell us where we open. The FOMC meets tomorrow. I can't predict the response to that with a sufficient degree of accuracy. It always leads to wild swings. I stand aside. I'm just too old for all that excitement. maybe a clue from early action. It's possible to count the recent action as ending diagonal in a triangle, and if it is, we should drop pretty much right from the open. I'm almost always flat going into the meeting. Without a clearer picture, I'm probably not going to trade this tomorrow, but if we start down in spades, I'm going to at least have to consider that as being the right count with a stop right at today's close, right at today's high. So it's the pattern with the early high, a possible end to the consolidation here. If we start down from the open and we have a negative response to FOMC, this could get ugly. But I don't know that now. All I know is I'm going to wait to see what happens. It's a candidate for a top. Doesn't mean it is a top. And that's today's call.